Good afternoon. I can hear you. Good afternoon. That's great. So I cannot move downstairs, I remember, sorry. Thank you very much to the organizing committee to invite me here, especially to our seniors, Kun Pongkacha and Kun Noi, Peters, Ma'am. Thank you very much as well for Hugo, Jones. I know they are working very hard. I think give applause to them. And we need more, a lot of, you realize or not that actually I'm always coming when you invite us. Every single invitation, I start to split my time to come. And why? It's because they are like us. They're working by heart. They're working with the community by heart. So we need more Noi in Thailand. So maybe we need 1,000 of Noi in Thailand, right? For better Thailand, or better ASEAN, something. Well, today is my presentation is about Indonesians. I will skip this, I believe. And Indonesian Ecotourism Network. Why is a network? Well, this is actually we are establishing in 1995. It's just several years after the International Ecotourism Societies. We choose a wording of network because it's actually the philosophy of tourism itself. It's a borderless, multi-stakeholders, multidiscipline. So Indecon is actually consists of a group of persons. We have planners, we have biologists, we have marine biologists, we have anthropologists even, and we just hiring one, the marine biologist, which is in the future, I believe, is a marine is one of a big topic in the next 10 years. So it's we try to facilitate the stakeholders in Indonesia. So Indonesian is too huge, and that's why we develop what we call a forum in every province or district levels, and we help them on the planning. We do a research and training, product development, and etc., etc. So we can discuss about that more. So Indonesians, I believe, which is huge, is 17,500 more island. So I always mention in every presentation, if you are only stay one day, you need 40 years to visit Indonesia. So you can imagine. So I want to bring you to imagine how this is a part of our challenge. I'm not saying difficulties, but we're still happy up until now because Indonesian is not full apart. Because this is not easy to maintain this country with a lot of different language, but we have one language, Indonesian language. That's we are lucky. We are good on that level. So it's 237 million people, which is also a challenge how to improve their livelihood. And talking about the tourism, we are increased in terms of the Indonesians globals is around 5% increase last year's, which is a little bit up from the globally, which is 4% as I remember by UNWTOs, and the trends is globally. It is also now is very the phenomena in Indonesia is quite challenged also. Is this phenomenon mostly is we are talking in the foreign visitors, but now it's actually is also in the domestic tourism. Yeah, people from the town is really like to traveling on the rural area. This is happens. So I think the CBT people, the facilitators, need to look on this. Mostly the point, sometimes the challenge, a lot of the CBT's facilitators is they are working on what I call is resource base. They look, this is beautiful, a good potential, and others, you know. But sometimes they are forgot who is their target market, you know. And then this is sometimes, especially, I'm sorry, I'm the NGOs, but I'm telling the truth. This is mostly, usually the NGO space too. They're talking, or the national park, conservation people. They are based on the resource base. But if you're talking the tourism, then you need to also to swing your head into the market point of view. So this is what the trend globally. As I mentioned, in Indonesia is also in the level of on the domestic as well. This is since the committee asking for the 2 or 3 samples. Actually, we done a lot of developments, community-based tourism in and around protected area and or outside the protected area. So this is one of the, I always like to talk about this because these people is destructive fishing. They are doing illegal loggings before. In terms of financial, you cannot compete with the illegal logging. They got about 2,000, not 2,000, it's about $250 a week. So it's about 1,000 a week from log. So how you can compete with that? In the beginning when we entered, we thought, wow, this is a very hard time. So after 2 years, 3 years, but finally we got it. So you look the number of visitors there. If this is what the government like it, numbers. Look at on the right side, boom, numbers. But on the other, actually, the challenge is there. Yesterday, I in one of the meetings, they are talking about how to determine the CBT markets. Who they are, is mass tourism or a single or backpackers. I said, well, for us, said anybody can go to CBT. Why? As long as they agree with the principle of the CBT. Okay? So if you can get more people to visit your village, as long as is in line with the good management. So the key is actually a good management at the local people, the organization itself. So these people now is reaching about the 30,000 or something, 30,000 more visitors. Is again, Western is about 9,000 or something like that. So it's the domestic is quite high numbers. This is what I tell you before. This is transform the trend of the market, so the local. Because we are too huge, a lot of visitors. Now the indicators of Indonesians growing tourism, especially domestic, is you can see from the number of airplanes in Indonesia, huge number. And then our international airport is actually designed only for 17 million per year. You know what now? 40 millions. So we cannot afford. It's like a bus terminal now, and during the weekend especially. So it's a that's what I say, in the domestic it's really crazy now. If you look the numbers in here in one another village, this is close to the Borobudur, which is received from 3 million tourists every year, the Borobudur temples. But this is only 3 kilometers. You discussed about yesterday the difficulties of marketing. Yes, the CBT product marketing is one of the most challenging. I thought in the beginning, my hypothesis is just make it a small channel from the 3 millions. Easy, you can say 1% is good, but no, none. We even create our own new system with the community, and even the different way we top up the number of the visitors to the temples, because it's really different. The people who visit the village is really different. And now it's very interesting to look the Indonesians. If you look the numbers, the reds, they are now visit the village, and people the communication is one of the key. So this is a strategic issue. I just bring one or two main. I thought that it's very important to share. It's two challenge strategic issues, which is and just a local community in the conservation, which is normal, but I thought this still keep going. Continue awareness raising to the communities is important. It's very, very important, Stan. Later on, I can explain why. And then the benefit sharing. I always talk with my own community when we starting from the process. It's not started yet. When they start a lot of visitors, that's what I call, okay, we are start now. Because there is a lot of debate, the rules, and the sharing. There's mostly people easy to times and plus, but usually people difficult to sharing. So I thought it's a very important when it's about that. So tourist management and services is also one of the challenge. So mostly based on our experience, I want to share as an practitioners, especially after success. Based on our experience, after 5 years, you need to review all the plans that you built before. That's definitely why. That's because of the people changing the generation. Okay, and the oldest are gone, and the youngest come, and the idea is different. So that's one big challenge, yeah, and make sure that the follow. That's why I said the continuous awareness raising is always should be continuous. So it's because a lot of when you came back, I tell you in the Tangkahan, for instance, in the last years, after 6 years, they said, well, Indecon, definitely we need your help. We have this list of challenge. I'm not saying, I told them it's not problem, it's challenge. So they list, and then they just ask us, okay, can you send one of your staff? Then I can send it, I send them. I pay for my own, my staff travel, but they pay for the whole entire for stay in 6-month period in their field, for food, for sleep, and etc. So to review again. So this is very important. And the demand influence the supply. This is always happen usually, for the tour operators. Our working on the ground is actually helping the tour operators. And but sometimes the tour operators just following what the need of their own guests, and sometimes try to changing the rules on the ground. That's why we are, since 9 years ago, we are working together with all tour operators who are linked up with our product. So that is also a tips that I hope that we can go. So that is about the CBT developments. And then I would like to share about the standard. I still have 10 minutes, I believe. And in Indonesia, is actually, we just revising in 2009, revise our old law on tourism. And on the law, in this law, we are involved, especially myself is try to involve, and then the community empowerment is one of the principles on the law. So it's great. So based on that, in 2009, 2010, so the empowerment community is a one directorate in the Ministry of Tourism. So it's special directorate to taking care about the community empowerment. So both national or local government is obligated to protect and establish the mutual beneficiary to partnership among the local, small, medium, micro, small, medium, to the cooperation in the tourism sectors. Meanwhile, about the legal process to develop a standard, this is something huge challenge, because in Indonesia we have what we call national standard body. So all the standard, if you want talking about the nationwide, so you should pass to this body, and they have their own standard process. So if like us, usually we should bring our recommend to the Ministry of Tourism, and the Ministry of Tourism can bring along to the BSN. BSN is Badan Standard National, is national standard body. So it's then they have a process. It's a quite long process, bringing all the stakeholders, and so this is a big challenge. Is actually on that process. So what is, we are not stopped on that. I thought it's on the implementation is keep going. That's why we thought that we need to move on. And Indecon is in 2002 with Cambodia, with the Thailand and Myanmar, as I remember that times. We also developed the project together about the standard on the community-based tourism. This is from the ground, actually. It's not from us. It's from the ground. We're grabbing the input. Some people said, hey, don't put standard as a benchmark. For instance, let's say to say, my community have no closet yet. So, and then say, then I neglected? No, it's something like this. Okay. For us, what we tell for our community is actually, hey, the standard, we are not talking about the standard, actually mostly talking with them, we tell them about this is the way how they improve their life, you know, the quality of life. This is the tips, that's what we're talking with them. So we are not talking, hey, this is talking about standard. People say, I don't bother about the standard. So this is talking about the quality of life, how you improve. And we tell them this is not only for you, but this is for your next generation. You know, so we teach them, we teach the way of the principles of the standard. So when the communities agree and they follow what the cleanliness and everything, so when the tourists come and happy, that is a bonus. So we are not bringing into the community as the perspective from the tourism need only. Okay, so that is a part of what we work on the ground. So. Different understanding, the urgency of the CBT standard is also. In our case, is frankly, is with those a lot of island, different type, different characters, a lot of ethnies. It's not easy, frankly. Always full apart to get the consensus together. But we know that we developed the core one, the core common core, and then the specific one for the area. And then this is always the bad in the big meetings like this. So it's, but on the other hand, we are as a practice always moving on the ground, looking as a best practice and then bring up again as a, you know, it's just circle like that. So to consider the consequences of the community, it should be careful. This is just informations. If you want to push the standard on the ground, but thinking, because if you want to change a standard to meet the market, and then we need to feel the consequences. It's like a budget. It's also consequences. The local people have no budget. Like Noi is also talking today. It's about if there is a standard, and then the people, how that's what we need to think about. Who is a bridging between them? Between the community and then the needs of the standard itself. If we need a fund to come, people to come. This is what we also happens. In Indonesia, we finally choose a strategy. So this is initiative from Indecon, but at the national level, we also, this is, number one is actually the government's level, but we are involved to push and fostering. Because we know the ASEAN, we are already signed the AFTA. So, and since the morning until my previous presentation is talking about human resources. So then we're focusing, our strategy in Indonesia, we're focusing on the competency standard, okay? On the ecotourism guide, followed by then mountaineering, water rafting, homestay, and others. And also Indecon itself, number two is Indecon initiative, is develop the criteria, CBT and indicators. And it's also the CBT, and then we choose based on our input from the peoples, then from the community, we choose the CBT product standard in 2010. I will show you later on. And last year's is actually we also developed together with ILO is a green homestay standard. So this is the fostering the homestay, which is this is also we need to talk with the Malaysians this morning. I thought we need to have a same perception about what is a homestay, you know. And Indecon, finally, pressured by all our network, is development a certification body. It is a professional for of ecotourism in Indonesia. So we use a standard again to improve the local people in the services. So this is about the locals, what do you call it? A product standard. Development standard on the logo on the right side, on the top is a community. 9 years ago, we already sitting together with a tour operator who are playing on the ecotourism. So we call it Indonesia Ecotour as Alliance. So IETA members, and we have a different level of, we do self-assessment certifications, we call. This is the way how we try to, you know, because the community cannot just directly follow all the standards. So step by step, we try to help them. And again, even though it's a self-assessment, it's not easy. We need some time to visit, and we need money to visit. And Indonesia is again, 1 minute, okay. Give me another 1 minute then. You stalling 1 other minute. No, it's okay. Anyway, this is one Indonesians, okay? It's a tourist friendly, environmental friendly, and community friendly. So that is a basic principle that we use. We on outside we have a book for the Bali ecotourism towards Bali. We thought Bali will be suffer. The environment of Bali will be suffer in the next futures. I mean, because of the impact of tourism. Then we help a lot on the concept principle into green. Even last year's we have for the 2050 green towards Bali green tourism. So it's we are involved with the international expert as well. So it's this is a very easy indicate criteria downstairs, which is a community can easily understand. Again, the way how we go is for quality of life of the community. And this is one of the examples in Java. If you look, this is part of our network place in Java. And then we work on the existing market actually, the mainstream. Overland Java is in the last, it's already 20 years old, maybe. So we improve it in some cases. And the tour operator in, let's say, Dutch, English, they said, oh, that's something that we need. Diversification of product, that's what they need. So it's, this is one example, it's quite good. So, yes, this is my last slide. This is, I think Indonesia will continue disseminating of existing CBT standard, even a lot of challenge on the ground. And we are now help our community through, what do you call it? Communication through internet and others. As well as we have a yearly gathering. And then we also help them to bringing the international and national buyers every year. So every year we conducting the International Ecotourism Business Forum. So then moving to one of our community to the others, which is supported by the Ministry of Tourism for the fund. So take input and kindly adjust. Start application from something easy and move on. Don't think too much, just move on, adjusting, move on. I agree with that the process. Focus on the process is important and document it. Document it. That's sometimes we've forgotten. After development any standard, assist the local community to implement it, which is not easy. This is need money for that level. and disseminate and assist local and national government to take of this initiative into a legal document, which is not easy. This is important, John. One minute. So I need to remind you, if on the left side, on the right side, I said this is the, let's say, structural. If you talk about the government, they are structural, okay? Procedural, directive, okay? And if you are as a former governor, if you're a director and said, I want to go there, and then if the DG said no, they are no, okay? So that's a directive. In that is a policy. But on the left side, yeah, in the tourism, we have a non-structural, which is us, like a community, you groups, the stakeholders, the player, the tour operator, and others. This is talking about not a policy, but talking about the commitment. Yeah, this is loose. This is a network. So that's why. And tourism is in borders. It's not only borderless based on the geographical, but it's also borderless in the stakeholders. Thank you very much.